Welcome back, 7th graders. It's now time for our second lesson in the second step program. Today, we're going to be learning about creating new pathways in your brain. Fun with science. Science teachers are going to love this one. We're going to learn how to grow our brains and how to get better at doing something new. Now, before we do that, let's just think a little bit about what we learned in our last lesson during second step. Essentially, it was a review of the program where we talked a little bit about things that can help us find success and ways we can self-advocate or ways we can ask for help as well. Now, using the play posit, what's one thing you've worked really hard at in order to become better at it? What did you do to get better? One quick example, a few years ago we had a capstone project here at DMS where students picked something they were really interested in and worked on it throughout the course of the year. One of our students, who was an 8th grader at the time, decided he wanted to learn how to play a string instrument. So he joined Dr. Hufford's Stranger Strings club, taught himself to play guitar, and actually performed at the talent show towards the end of the year.
For over 100 years, scientists have studied where intelligence comes from. Are some people just born smarter than everybody else? Or can each of us build up our intelligence over time? What skills can we learn? And what skills are just genetic? What makes someone smart anyway? Over time, we've discovered that our brains are much more flexible than we ever imagined. They're kind of like muscles. The more we exercise them, the stronger and faster they get. No one is born knowing how to read or build a supercomputer. But with practice, anyone can learn these things. Here's how it works. Our brains are made up of billions and billions of tiny cells called neurons. Each neuron has branches that reach out. When you learn something new or practice a skill, the neurons in specific parts of your brain grow. When the branches of two neurons get close enough, they form a neural pathway. Energy zings along these pathways, sending signals to different parts of the brain. Soon, a protective coating begins to form around the neural pathways. This coating, called myelin, helps the energy move even more quickly. Everything you do, feel, or think strengthens your neural pathways and makes it easier for you to do, feel, and think those things again. Let's say you want to organize a campaign at your school that inspires people to take action on a topic you care about. It may be difficult at first, but the more you experiment with strategies to help you stay organized and bring people together, the more those parts of your brain will grow and strengthen. Soon, you might notice that running your campaign isn't as hard as it used to be. You really can train your brain. That's great news, no matter what goal you're working on. But this process doesn't always work the way we want it to. If you learn and practice doing something the wrong way, it becomes easier to do it the wrong way again. That can make bad habits pretty hard to break. Luckily, you can also retrain your brain. With effort and attention, you can decide which neural pathways you'd like to strengthen and which pathways you'd like to fade away. As you tackle bad habits and work through your emotions, even as you make mistakes and keep trying, your brain lets old, unused connections go and forms new connections to help you reach your goals. And while myelination happens throughout your whole life, it really picks up in middle school. The frontal lobe of your brain, the part that helps you plan ahead, make decisions, and think logically, is myelinating at a faster rate now than it ever has before. Which means that, scientifically, now is a great time to decide how you want to build your brain. And the good news is that even after middle school, there's no expiration date on your potential. You can, and do, build connections and learn new things throughout your whole life. Your brain power isn't decided by your genes, your family, or what other people think or say about you. It's up to you. Whether you want to achieve a big, long-term goal, or just form some good daily habits, you can start building your brain to do those things anytime you want. So, what will you train your brain to do?
Now, using your PlayPosit, answer these two questions. What happens in your brain when you're learning? And what are some things you can do to grow your brain? In your brain, when we learn, neurons connect to form neural pathways. As we practice, myelin coats those pathways. The thicker that myelin coat, the faster that pathway becomes. How do you do it? How do you grow the brain? You have to try new and challenging things. You have to ask a lot of questions. You have to make mistakes and try again, and then you have to practice, practice, practice. Now, we're going to do a little bit of a brain challenge. You're going to work on your own here. You're going to take turns playing a game you've all heard of and played earlier this year as we did our introductory lessons. It's called rock, paper, scissors. The difference is we're going to play it against ourselves. So as a quick review, rock, closed fist. Paper, flat palm. Scissors, two fingers. Rock beats scissors. Paper beats rock. Scissors beats paper. What we're going to do is, you're going to use this game as using two hands, your own two hands. Your left hand, which is my left hand here, must always beat your right hand. And you can't repeat the same winning pattern. You have to switch it up every time. Now, we're just going to do it for about 15 or 20 seconds, and then we're going to take a break and try it again. Just to give you an example. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. I'm already getting confused with myself. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. So very difficult. All right. Get ready. On your marks. Get set. Go. Okay, take a pause, shake it out, clear your head, and now we're going to do 15 more seconds where you're going to play against yourself again. Same idea. You're doing against yourself, and your left hand always has to win. All right, 15 seconds. On your marks, get set, go. All right, you can stop there. Now, what did you notice about your ability to win against yourself as you continued to practice and play? Think about the first round when you played against yourself, then think about it the second round as you practice more and more. What did you notice? Think about what happens in your brain when you practice something new and difficult. Now, as we finish this lesson, over the course of the next week, choose something that's difficult and practice it. Build and strengthen those neural pathways and continue to grow your brain. And remember, as you do repetition, as you practice, the correct type of practice, meaning doing it properly, is going to help you actually improve. Going back to our friend from 8th grade a couple years ago, he practiced week in and week out learning those guitar skills. He strengthened those neural connections, the myelin got thicker, and he gained new skills. Thanks very much for being with us today. Have a great day, and pick something to practice and become better at this week.